Ready?
Yep.
Hi, it's Becky and Danusia here. Thank you so much for all your questions.
We want to help raise awareness for the opportunities that studying in America can provide. And so hopefully by answering your questions, we can inspire some people to follow in our footsteps.
Here we go.
Okay, so we're going to jump straight to the first question from Casey Magnesium. He says, how did the recruiting process go for international athletes? Did the coaches find you or did you find them?
So for me, my mum's an avid gym fan, and through some other fans that knew Miss Val, she was able to get in touch, and then Miss Val messaged me through, I think it was Facebook or email first, and then yeah, she came over and visited, and that was how it all began.
Personally for me, Stanford sent me a letter just asking if I was interested in studying and competing there, and then a couple of other schools also emailed me, so I had a few choices originally to choose from. So many honeys made the jump to the NCAA.
So honeys, for anyone that doesn't know, is Heathrow honeys. Me, Becky, Laura Mitchell and Tom Gibbs, all from Heathrow, and we all are in the NCAA or have graduated. And I think the culture here is very team orientated. So we did the British Team Championships every year, and we're always the loudest, most enthusiastic team. And
You definitely were.
yeah. And our coaches also see how great the opportunity in America was. Even before Becky went, they just saw like you get an education, it's an overall experience, and so they were definitely on board with all of us going.
It's
especially once Becky went.
Yeah, it's definitely a chain reaction. I think that once I went and just absolutely loved it out there, then we just kept the ball rolling, and if you had the opportunity, just take it.
Yeah. What did you guys do in high school to prepare and get started for NCAA Gymnastics?
So obviously to go to America to do gymnastics you have to be at a certain level, not only athletically but also academically. So obviously focusing on gymnastics and making sure you're at the required level for that university, but also depending on how important academics are to you also, to really take advantage of that. Like for me, academics was also something very, very important to me, and that's why when I was considering schools, I wanted a school that offered academics just as much as athletics too. So Stanford was the perfect choice for me.
I would also say that for A-levels, where A-levels are concerned, they're much harder than the SAT, I thought. Do you think so? Yeah, it's a different things you have to do, English and maths, and if that's not your strength, then the SAT is going to be a bit of a struggle, but
you will have to take the
SAT.
You will have to take the SAT, and you will be required to have A-levels also. How did you pick your university? Did you visit America beforehand?
So I got offers from Florida and UCLA, and as soon as I got the offer from UCLA, I was really, really interested. I don't know, something about it was just like UCLA. Here is actually a clothing brand called UCLA, so I think I just already knew it and thought it was like this glamorous, famous place. So then, yeah, I did go out there and visit, and Sam Pejek and Olivia Courtney and Sydney Sau and Cassie Kozai, shout out to them. They made my recruit trip amazing, and I still remember it now, and yeah, they definitely convinced me.
I had offers from quite a few different schools, but once I had the offer from Stanford, I kind of knew that that was going to be my top choice, like I said, because of the academics. And so for me at that point it was kind of Stanford or nothing. And then I actually accepted my offer before I visited, which is pretty rare. Usually you do it all the way around. But I accepted the position, and then I went on my official recruiting visit, which was amazing, and I'm really glad that I made the right choice.
How different was college gymnastics than club?
It's a pretty big transition, and it's actually bigger than you think. So it is easier in a sense because you do less skills, and those skills are easier than what you did in elite, but you have to do them perfectly because you're aiming for that 10.
I'd also say the really cool thing was getting to do more adventurous stuff that obviously in elite to get difficulty is a set pattern. Everyone has to do double out on floor, but being able to do my dismount, for example, is something that wouldn't be rewarded in elite, so that was really, really cool for me.
And you can also specialise in events, so I actually didn't do all 4 events in college. I only did bars and beam for my last 3 years. They were my best events anyway, and because it's such a team-oriented sport, you really just do what your strengths are. Ready? Alright, Noosh, how did you get through the really hard days at gym and on campus?
Sometimes I cried.
Been there.
But yeah, the best parts were just knowing that your team had the exact same assignment and training as you. So you can't really just stand there and feel sorry for yourself, because it's not like an elite, like for example, when we were training here during 2008, and Becky's the only one that's training for the Olympics, and she's by herself doing all these routines and all this conditioning. Yeah, she could be the only one crying at that point. She's the only one doing it, and we all just have to feel sorry for her. But in college, everyone has the exact same assignment. You have team assignments, and so you just look at the person next to you and be like, well, I guess we're going to do this together. Yeah, and then the same in class. Like, I had a lot of classes with my teammates, so that was always nice just to have someone else to study with and just be like, oh wait, did you get this for that answer? Like, study together, you have to use your team, and it's just something unique, I think, having teammates.
Yeah, I definitely think relying on your teammates is key, and then also having like an escape from the gym too, so having a separate group of friends so that if you did have a rough day in the gym, then you can go outside and like see those friends and take your mind off it, and it's really important to be able to separate the two.
How many hours a day of gym did you have, and did you still go to normal classes?
So when you're at college, the NCAA limit is 20 hours per week. That includes all practices, team meetings, conditioning, everything like that. You can't go over 20 hours. So it's definitely a lot less than what you were doing in elite, but you have to be very efficient to make the max out of the time that you have. And yes, we still went to normal classes. You're required to take a certain amount of units each quarter, and so you have to take the classes to get that done. Sometimes it's hard because it conflicts with practice, so you have to work with your professors to make sure that you can fit the classes around your schedule, but they're usually really willing to help, and yeah, it usually works out just fine.
Yeah, we had to like go to our professor on the first day of class, and if they weren't willing to help, you just had to take another class. So that was sometimes hard, but
yeah.
And then during elite, we actually were lucky enough not to miss too much school apart from the national squad. We trained in the evenings here at Heathrow, so that was another way that they were quite accommodating to wanting us to further our education here at Heathrow. But I think in a lot of cases in elite, people do miss multiple days of school a week.
Yeah.
So that's another way. In college, you don't miss any class.
What was your pre-meet ritual?
I didn't have a ritual, so to speak, but on competition day, my superstitions go up a level. I'm not trying to get anyone on my team jinxed. No jinxing will be happening that day.
All the words.
Yeah, just wood needs to be found. If anyone says, oh, it's going to be a good day, I'm like, touch wood. So that was what had to happen on meet day. And I would call that my ritual because everyone on the team eventually saw how serious I took it, and they were on the level touching wood with me. Thanks, Bruins. Much appreciated. What was your favourite part about student athlete life?
I think for me it was the people that you meet on campus. I feel like growing up in England, like you meet some athletes, but you really don't meet that variety of sports. And I know that Stanford we had 35 different sports, and it's a lot at other schools too. Yeah. But yeah, you make friends with basketball players, football players, tennis players, golf players, and athletes that I've never met before, and just learning about their sport too, and all kind of going through the same process at college. It's just a really, really cool experience, and I mean, I definitely made friends for life, and even they're on the other side of the world, I still keep in contact with them a lot, so it was cool.
Yeah, I think the respect that people have for college level athletes in America, I don't think it could be matched anywhere in the world. So,
what was the hardest part about being an international student, and how did you overcome this? Great question.
Well, where do I begin? It is much harder than you'd imagine. There isn't much at I'm obviously just taught for UCLA. When I first got there, I feel like there should have been like a checklist or something just to help you out. Like, you will need a phone, a bank card, like stuff like that, which obviously is common sense.
And your visa.
Yeah, and your visa documents. They should just tell you what stuff to put in your hand luggage. Just a nice simple email with some bullet points. Don't worry, here's me and Becky.
We got you. We got you.
We will help you.
Aside from that, it's fine.
Yeah.
Alright. How did you find out about the NCAA opportunities living in the UK? Now, I know for me personally, so I actually got the letter from Stanford first. Like, that was my first connection and the first time I'd really heard of it. And at first, actually, I didn't really want to go to America. I was like, oh, it's so far away from home, I'm not going to like it. I don't even know if I want to do gymnastics for 4 more years. And I kind of dismissed the idea. But then my teammate, Marissa King, went to Florida, and she came back after her first quarter or so, and she absolutely loved it. And she came to my house, and she told me all about it. And she basically convinced me that it's the best thing in the world. And from that point on, I was like, you know what, maybe actually this is something I want to do. And so that was when I really started to consider it, and it just went from there. And thank you, Marissa, because Best decision I ever made.
Yeah, that was the same with me. Like hearing Becky, and I've seen all her pictures and everything, and then she came back and told me all about it. And I actually spent like a lot of time with Marissa summer 2012 just before I went, and she just convinced me even more that I was going to love it. So yeah, but that's not the case, and for some people they don't have someone out there just that they can talk to. So
that's where we want to come in. We want to kind of raise that awareness for you guys. Someone asked, should you post videos on YouTube of whatever high-level gymnastics skills to get colleges to notice you?
Yeah, I never posted myself, but there was always a lot. I think British Gymnastics always posted them, and just bands always posted them. And I know that the coaches at UCLA definitely looked at YouTube before considering me properly. And so yeah, it can never be a bad thing. It's always good to get noticed.
So get your name out there. The more that you can put out there, the better. Get your videos up. Just do as much as you can really to try and get them to notice you.
Were you involved in any international student organisations on campus?
Personally, I was not, but there definitely are organisations that you can get involved with. I've had a lot on my plate with training and school, and so it just wasn't really something that I could fit into my schedule. But
yeah, same. I wasn't either, but you have to be kind of a part of it because you have to go and get your visa signed. So you definitely got some emails from them,
yeah.
And I saw they do a lot of fun activities, but I didn't join in on any of those.
Yeah.
But if you really want to make time for something like that, you can. I actually had a job my junior year, so if you wanted to make time for something else, you can.
So how did you manage to get your schoolwork done and also be an amazing gymnast? Cutie. How about you, Nish?
Sometimes I wonder how I did.
Me too.
Because I gave myself Fridays and Saturdays off from homework.
Must be nice.
I guess we did have to do it sometimes when we travelled on the Fridays and Saturdays. But when it wasn't season, sorry Miss Mel, I did not study on Fridays and Saturdays. Maybe just before finals, but anyway, you just have to prioritise at that time.
Just time management really.
Yeah.
What was the biggest unexpected cultural difference?
I think it's actually the language. You're like, oh, American English, just the same thing. Yeah, and like you see it in the movies and everything. And so we know more of their lingo than they know of ours.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you can't think of the word, the American word, Americans don't know the English word. Mm-hmm. So it's just, you just never know.
Basically, just get ready for 4 years of people saying, oh my gosh, I love your accent.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Yeah, a few foods that you're definitely going to miss, but those were really shocks, I guess.
Yeah.
I did not know that they didn't have baked beans though. That was a shock. Becky could have told me. How do you keep in touch with your family while you're in the States? I imagine they want to be at every meet. Cute.
Yeah, so we were both on the West Coast, so it was an 8-hour time difference. So a lot of Skype, a lot of WhatsApp. You figure out the best times to call, usually like either late at night or early in the morning. But yeah, I Skype my parents quite often, and then they also managed to come out to watch at least one of my meets every year, which was great. Obviously it's really fast, they couldn't come out for everyone, but they would try to come out for a big one each year, which was really, really good. But yeah, it was, I mean, it's tough to be away from your family. We were used to it because we traveled a lot, I think, growing up. But yeah, it's just nice to know that your family is always going to be there, even on the other side of the world, they're always at the end of a phone. Okay, how excited are you guys for Ruby Harrell to compete for LSU this season?
So excited. I've always loved Ruby's style of gymnastics, and she already in elite has some unique skills, so I think she's just going to shine and she's going to love it, and they're going to love her, and now I'm going to have to be a slight LSU fan. Like,
yeah.
Obviously, Bruin Nation, you got my heart, but
go Cardinal. But
yeah, we're definitely going to be rooting
big Ruby fans
for
yeah.
Ruby.
Yeah, I think that for some people you can just tell that they're going to be amazing in college, and Ruby's definitely one of those people. I mean, she's just coming off making an Olympic final, so she's on a high, and I think it really is just going to continue to go up for her from here. Yeah. I'm really excited to see what she's going to do.
What did you guys do in high school to So recording?
Yeah, so recording.
3, 2, 1. Okay, the next question. Okay, we're going to delete that.
Must have been that.